Yo, what's up, boys? So let's go over today's price action. It's pretty difficult, pretty difficult. So let's start on the daily chart. So this is where it gets kind of conflicting for a couple of reasons. So for one, the daily chart is not that clean, right? We're literally in consolidation, like literally in consolidation, man. As you can see, like we're just making failure swings on both sides. We're having SMT with failure swings, blah blah blah. It's pretty tough, man. It really is. But we know that last week we had this universal model down here with the A failure swing, or at least we created a failure swing. You could argue, yeah, you could definitely say that these are not failure swings, but when we kind of, you know, I guess trade below this low, I mean, this is pretty much, I mean, I'd probably consider that a failure swing, but we have a manipulation candle. It's a two-stage SMT. We're within consolidation, so we can reverse from these levels here to get back into the range. So, you know, it's kind of reversing from the external, not external points, but really close to the external points, right? Around the 0.75 of that range, entire range. And it's just going to come back into the middle of the range. This is where we just end up BSing, right? But like, as you can see, we expand, and then Friday closes off like this. And we do create SMT, yeah, here. But I'm not coming into the week, to be honest with you guys, thinking that this is a relevant SMT. Why? Because this asset here is really close to that. So NQ is really, really close to that SMT. And there's a reason to continue. There's a high just beyond it, even up here potentially. So I'm kind of bullish. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm kind of bullish coming to the week potentially. Now what we do have technically as well though is this is why it's conflicting a little bit. You see this asset is taking out this high. Yes, taking out this high. While this asset is not taking out the high. And it's in a gap. So it's interesting. And you look at the signatures over here, they're very retracement like, right? Look here, it's very slow price action. You know, if we go to the course, I actually don't think I put this in the, wait, did I put this in the course? Yeah, I did. So we have advanced period discount like this, and you see one of the assets, right, is creating this space at SMT. This should probably be blue, by the way, because that's a good thing. Well, oh, never mind. I know why I did that. Okay, never mind. But yeah, when you look at these assets here, the lagging ones, if they're kind of not putting in that reversal signature, even if there's a two-stage lows, right, two-stage lows, they're not really putting that reversal signature. When the leading asset hits that overall draw liquidity, creating an SMT, this is a red flag for continuation on these assets potentially, right? So like that's what I'm kind of seeing here, honestly, right? This asset here is technically making a strength switch if you think about it, kinda. Let me see. It's not. It's really hard to say because these assets are not creating the same highs and lows at the same time. So it's really hard to use like this, for example. It's really hard to do this, like SMT like that, or like this, because this first SMT is like really weird. It's not happening at the same time. For example, yeah, like for example, like look at this high right here. It's a actual swing high, right? Dude, if I go that same high, it's like, what the hell? It's right here, dude. You know what I'm saying? It's really off-putting. So I don't even think that it's not a strength switch. I'm tripping. It's just really confusing to look at, so I don't even consider it, honestly. But what I do know, bro, is on the weekly time frame, we did have a PSP here. So it's really weird, dude. Like you have this candle, these candles bullish here, this one's bearish. So it's like, I would want, if we're gonna go lower, I honestly would want NQ and ES to take this high, but they don't. We just gap lower. So let's show you here. We just gap lower, which is annoying, as you see. We just gap lower. Oh, this is strength switch. My bad, guys. This is technically strength switch. I need the strength switch somewhere in here. So you guys see here. That's the strength switch that we have, which we could maybe fade these equal highs, SMTs. I mean, that's in the course too, right? Where would that be? It's somewhere up here, right? We could see that NQ is the middle asset, which is weird. Like not, that's again, that's not, that's like consolidation signatures typically. When you ever see like like failure swing SMT, like SMT just not holding, where it's just like SMT on both sides, stuff like that. Consolidation signatures. Another thing is like if NQ is a leading asset, that's not shouldn't be the case, honestly. But yeah, that's what we see here, right? So this would be NQ technically, which is really weird, but it has that failure swing SMT, but between the leading asset, which is technically ES, right? And the lagging asset, which would be this one, YM, they're creating a strength switch, right? Which if they start to expand away, you can maybe begin to trust that. Fair swing SMT here. But going into the day, it's just like, yeah, we gap lower. So you can't trade this lower, by the way, like in Asia session, you just can't do it. So you automatically fast forward to New York session, which would be right here, 9:30. So peep this at 9:30, which I think is potentially tradable, honestly, because look over here. But at this point in time, none of the assets have taken out the previous high, which is a red flag. Like this is not an established reversal at all, like up here. So it's like if it's not established reversal, and we still have like these equal highs, for example, on ES and stuff like that, I could actually entertain longs, to be honest, right? And you have a relevant low. Look at the space between like this low, anything else or whatever. It's obviously a relevant low, and NQ takes that low out. Takes that low out, as you guys can see. Takes that low out, as you see on YM as well. Creates a fair swing SMT. The day opens low first, and then we displace away, guys. This is perfect scenario for longs, right? Obviously. We are also within a 4-hour universal model coming into driver. We have a 4-hour low. We're still within that daily universal model, right? Potentially. This asset also tagged a gap. Right? So actually a daily universal model technically. So yeah, like this is good. Like this is good for bullish, if I'm being honest. I know the day was bearish, but I'm not gonna bullshit you guys. Like this is good. This is good for longs. So when you take the gap, if the low of day is 2 o'clock, right, we want to trade C. This would be technically C4. Yep, C4 continuation here. Look back to the previous candle's range, which is 2 a.m. I guess Asia actually formed low day, but you get what I mean. Look back within the previous candle's range. What do we got? A gap. Gap in price, as you can see. Sorry, that's on SMT film. I'm tripping. Where's SMT fill out? Yeah, it's technically right here. It's like right here. Hold on. Let me zoom out a little bit, see if there's anything I'm missing here. Oh no, they all hit that gap. Okay, I thought, okay. So it's somewhere here, dude. Yeah, it's like right here. Whoops. It's simply just price creates a displacement leg, right? With a couple of gaps in price. With a couple of gaps in price, but this is a deep enough retracement where we, like, if we're gonna continue, like it has to happen here, you're gonna have some sort of cracking correlation. It's where you get PSP, guys. You can see this bullish candle, bearish candle, which I mean is technically a strength switch because NQ didn't take that low out, but it's not. It's like not a strength that matters too much because it's nothing like a lagging asset, for example. Like I'm not gonna take NQ here, so why would I not take NQ here just because it's creating a like the fair swing SMT? Simply because it's not even close to the draw. Like look at YM, it's clearly the strongest to that previous high, creating equal highs. So we know there's no established high day at this point, especially because it's equal highs. It's kind of like that framework I told you guys about, where like you have a universal model, price displaces away, and then starts to retrace into the gap that the displacement created. And at the point of retracements, we haven't even hit anything. We create fair swings. I love this framework. It's so good. But you have a crack correlation prior to the driver. So you have, yeah, you're opening up basically 9 o'clock. So the 1 hour, 9 o'clock 1 hour candle, right? We know that 9:30 resides in it. So if 8 o'clock 1 hour candle is a C2, then obviously C3 at 9 o'clock should expand, which 9:30 is going to really be the time to expand. So that's good, right? So like you can already maybe position yourself like now, like about 30 minutes before, but if you want to wait just before the driver, which is honestly what I do, this is what it would look like right here. So 9:25, this next candle is 9:30. What do we do? This is good. right? We've already established a CSD continuation off of that. Pretty much good, brother. You even have this SMT fill right here. This asset does not have the gap. These assets obviously do. It's confirmed there. 2R into the high. Like, take YM. Like, I hope a lot of you guys took this, honestly. Now, this decoupling that you're about to see, can't anticipate, right? Can't really anticipate that. But boom, you get hit there. Like, this is validated right here. And you take YM because it's closest to the high. It's simple as that. And now with this decoupling here, right? There's two areas where we'd want to see NQ continue off of. And it's really ideally right here, brother. It's right there, honestly. This is ideally what I would want NQ to continue off of, because we already have an established low day here, right? You already have it. So NQ coming back here is a red flag, right? It's a red flag. It's not good. So you're going to see it does that. So boom, it takes it out. And this is where you really have to decipher which SMT is actually relevant. Is it the one here? Or is it the one here? This is where it's hard, right? And you're not trading ES, by the way. We are not trading ES in any way here. Right? You should know why. Because in a decoupled market, if you look at the course, what happens? When when leading asset, is it, NQ, for example, it doesn't actually matter. They're going to be expanding opposite directions. ES is going to be bullshitting. It's going to be waiting for the resync, right? Because it's the middle asset. It doesn't know which side to pick, really. So you have to wait for the resync. Now you have to decipher which asset is going to resync, and now you have to time it. For a, for a decoupled market, you have to time these things. And when does that happen? When candles close. These higher temperature candles close. Remember, they're going to be expanding opposite directions, creating expansion candles in opposite directions. The two-stage PSP is what is like the filter, right? So you can't trade, for example, this like bullishly higher or this lower, because look at the 30-minute, look at the 4-hour. You got to wait for 10 at least, right? So here's 10 o'clock close. There's 10 o'clock close. Now you got to decipher which is the leading asset here, which one's the fake one, which one's whatever. But this is hard because you have one asset at the very low of the range and one asset at the very high of the range. So when you see this in the course where, well, you're about to see this decoupling in a minute. It's technically this right here. This scenario where we have a decoupling anticipation for reversal, where the decoupling is a strength switch, and you only see this when the first stage SMT is in terms of advanced premium discount. It's very spaced out, because what you're going to have is this asset is going to start expanding back in the range while this one expands higher. They're gravitating towards each other to become correlated, right? But this is different than this. Why is it different? Because NQ is at the very low of range while this one's at the very high of range. In this case, you have it differently, right? Where this one's just at a high range, this one's in the middle of a range, basically. It's like starting to retrace. This is different because it would look something like this, right? You know what I'm saying? This is what we have right now in NQ, where we have this asset running out of low, so it's a bit different. It's actually going to be even more severe. Like this decoupling will be even more severe because this one just manipulated. It's like at the low of its range. If NQ was just retracing, it doesn't have to go that much higher, right? Because they're closer together. Does that make sense? So this decoupling you see here, very rare, especially after 9:30. Very rare. But you have to decipher, guys, which one's the real Kraken correlation. And what you see here, you technically have an SMT on the daily in two ways. You have one at the lows in a daily gap, but you also have this here, right? And remember, we have to time this. So can we technically trade at 10 o'clock, right, for this scenario? Here. So pretend this is 10 o'clock candles. You cannot, because one thing you're going to look at, guys, is the 90-minute. And I know this is not my course, but I've been teaching this for a long time. If you ever want to trade a 10 o'clock reversal, look at the 90-minute candle. And look here. Look at the current 90-minute candles on both NQ, ES. Don't look at, or not ES, sorry. NQ and YM. We don't care about ES. Look here, right? You can't trade this higher because it has a large wick. You can't trade this lower because it has a large wick. So you wait till 10:30. All right, so anything in there prior is not valid technically, right? Especially because they're so decoupled, dude. Like this is like crazy, right? It's very, very odd. Now, what can we also use for additional bias, guys? Is this here, intermarket relations. When I look at the indices market, I can look at these other markets here. I can compare them to the indices market to kind of gauge market direction or bias, right? If I see that GC and silver is extremely bearish, you know, and I see that NQ and ES are bearish, but YM is bullish, what am I going to assume that YM is doing? Probably manipulating, right? Because in these assets here, which is GC, is bearish, right? Metals is bearish. So that's something that we can really use here. And if we look at gold today, I mean, it's falling off a fucking cliff. It's falling off of a cliff. It has the same scenario where it gaps lower, but it's absolutely falling off a cliff. Silver is falling off a cliff too. So what can that tell us? Like, which side are we going to trust right now? Are we going to trust the bullish side or the bearish side? Right, probably the bearish side. So we're going to trust this SMT appeared to likely hold, but we need to time it. Right, remember we need to time it. And you can see this decoupling is very, very severe because of the premium discount, like where it's happening. It's very different, right? It's very different than this, what you're seeing here. Like, because we're opening up to the, like down here, basically, like manipulating a low SMT on both sides. Like if I show you here, this asset just took the low of the range. This asset just took out, you know, this up here. So it's very, very different, guys. But if you look here, it's like if we want to resync price, you know, NQ is expanding higher, then it's got to hit a key level, right, to resync price essentially. So what is that relevant key level? Well, there's two cases. It's either this high. So why is this high? Because that would be a strength switch, right, on the 90-minute. Remember, we're waiting for this 1030 close, guys. That would be that level or just this level, right? This is the overall level because this is the only level internal to this high because it's such a deep retracement. This is the only like relevant level. And you can see that we clearly create this two-stage there. So we're just waiting, ideally, until this asset takes this high out, which happens right here. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of this, to be honest. Like shorting way down here, I'm just not the biggest fan of it. But if you go to price action here, let's wait till we take this high out. As soon as you take this high out, it's pretty much valid to take anything for a lagging asset, which happens right here technically. Now, when we engage with this low on YM, I'd say, hold on, let me zoom out real quick. Yeah, this is probably the relevant low in price. Next one is here. You can see that we're not manipulating it, right? We engage with it once, it causes a retracement, and then we're closing through, expanding through again, right? And we're not even manipulating this low either. You can see that when we engage with this, we're consolidating. Right, as you can see, we're consolidating. You can kind of even see, like, for example, like they're so decoupled. This one's expanding higher, this one's expanding lower. That it's the same. It's like fractal, right? When this asset engaged with this high, what is this asset doing? Consolidating. So it looks like this, right? It's just fractal. Right. This would be like YM. This would be NQ, for example. Except NQ is obviously not expanding like crazy like that. But this is the strength switch. So you know that this SMT is probably gonna hold, right? It's also a strength switch, right? Or I already said that, but on NQ, it's like a continuation PSP technically, although you don't really see it like this happen too much, where the continuation PSP is like a reversal candle like this. It's just awkward because of the decoupling. But yeah, this could be technically a valid entry on YM, something like this. It's just such a small stop loss. I'd probably go light risk on this, honestly. But the first TP would be here, because this low right here, guys, this low that you see here is technically this low here, right, on NQ. That's your first TP, and then obviously maybe down here. It's just kind of like a seek and destroy profile in a way, because we're opening low first, then we're going higher, and then we're lower. So it's like you want to be careful on where you're TPing and stuff like that, and your risk and all that. But yeah, you could technically take this, and then we ultimately hit that low, and then whatever price is doing right now. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. That's how you kind of decipher which assets to kind of trade. We can't just, when this starts to expand, like this driver entry up here, very, very valid. We can't just trade ES, guys. You can't do it. Unless you're anticipating that NQ is going to resync here without the confirmation. But they're so decoupled, dude, that I would require a confirmation personally. Like they're so decoupled. And then when we use gold, like I said, at this point, it's falling off the face of the earth, right? So it's like, that these moved higher, it's pretty sus, right? One of these has to be manipulation. You know what I'm saying? And then gold has like a reason to continue lower as well. So blah, 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 blah. But yeah, that's kind of my walkthrough here. It's really hard to say. Like coming into it, I could be bullish maybe, right? It makes a lot of sense because there's no established reversal. We got to create one, right? If we're going to go lower. And these equal highs was too obvious. The day opening low first, like it's really nice, like PSP and stuff like that. Dude, I really like that driver entry right there, man. I think that's the cleanest one, like the most clear one, to be honest with you guys. Probably the most clear entry of the day. Other than that, it gets really advanced, and I would probably, for most of you guys, avoid these conditions because they're really hard to decipher, right? Really, really, really hard. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you guys for indices, and we'll cover gold to see what there was to take. I did not trade today. I was busy in the morning, but yeah, I mean, there's still things to learn. For you guys, I'm still gonna do a recap and stuff, but yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Hopefully you guys learned something. I'm sure you did because it's pretty advanced stuff.